This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Friday, October 27th, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. The Indiana State Department of Agriculture recently hosted a delegation from Turkey that got a close look at Indiana's hardwood industry. The ISDA said the goals of the delegation's trade mission was to introduce Turkish buyers to Indiana hardwood suppliers, generate sales and establish long-term customer relationships, and expand market access and foreign business for Indiana forest products. ISDA Director Don Lamb.
They really like the way that the hardwood industry works here in Indiana, impressed with the technology that's utilized. I think the biggest reaction was the fact that they liked the people and they had really good relationships formed through the visit.
Representatives from 8 Turkish companies took part in the trade mission, which began in Louisville and ended in Chicago, with visits to hardwood companies throughout the state of Indiana. Among the businesses the delegation visited are Andis Logging in Paoli, Land of Indiana in Bedford, Tri-State Timber in Spencer, Cole Hardwoods in Logansport, Pike Lumber in Akron, and Holmes & Company in Columbia City. Lafayette-based Wabash is expanding its parts distribution network and trailers as a service as part of a joint venture with California-based investment firm Fernweh Group LLC to grow its e-commerce footing. Fernweh has a focus on the industrial technology sector, and in its 4851 joint venture, Wabash said in a news release it plans to accelerate its end-to-end digital platform and improve the customer and supplier experience. The companies will also work with Anya AI as an implementation partner. Wabash chose Fernweh since it had experience with similar companies and created their engaged investor operator model. The company also expects the joint venture will allow them to experiment like a startup with experience as an industry leader. Indianapolis-based software startup Yorko has closed on a $2 million round of seed funding that the company's CEO says will help fuel its growth ambitions. Yorko's co-founder and CEO, Brody Meyer, says the company wasn't necessarily looking to secure outside funding, but it found the right partner and decided that seed capital could help Yorko grow more quickly. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Whether it's a new hire or a noteworthy promotion, IIB's Bigwigs and New Gigs serves as a platform to promote your team. Our revamped offering includes being featured on both the newly redesigned newsletter and at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Subscribers to the Business News subscription save $10 off every listing, plus you can save $100 by bundling your submission to IIB with the Indianapolis Business Journal or the Indiana Lawyer. More at InsideIndianaBusiness.com.
Perry Township Schools is raising wages for new and current bus drivers as the district continues to face staffing strains, even though it redrew some school enrollment boundaries earlier this year to try to ease the problem. IIB's Alex Brown has more.
With a recruitment event coming up Saturday, the Perry School Board this week approved a 5% pay increase for all current drivers that will be retroactive to the start of the school year. Additionally, drivers who have been with the district since at least March will be eligible for a $500 retention bonus if they stay until January 2024. Starting pay for new drivers will rise 2.5% to $23.57 per hour. All other support staff, like cafeteria and custodial workers, will also get the same pay rate increases. Administrators, meanwhile, will receive a 4% base pay increase. Like districts across the country, Perry faced struggles throughout the pandemic to keep its bus routes staffed. Ahead of this school year, Perry redrew elementary school enrollment boundaries to shorten and consolidate bus routes and ensure each route had its own regular driver in place, rather than a substitute. All the routes still have a regular driver, said district spokesperson Elizabeth Choi. The change has improved the district's busing issues, she said, but buses sometimes still arrive late because of staffing problems. Since January, 25 bus drivers have left the district, including 10 who retired. The district has an 80% driver retention rate. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A proposal from Howard County Commissioner Jack Dode would transform a vacated building and a portion of a street in downtown Kokomo into a public green space. The Kokomo Tribune reports the nearly $2 million project would see the Firestone building be demolished and the stretch of East Mulberry Street between Main and Union Streets removed. The project would still require approval from the Howard County Commissioners, and a funding source has yet to be identified. Kokomo Mayor Tyler Moore told the Tribune the city would consider taking care of the work to remove the portion of Mulberry Street to make way for the public green space if the project receives approval. Over 3+ hours Wednesday, legislative members painstakingly debated and approved 20 of the 30 recommendations submitted to an interim committee on drainage along 3 preliminary drafts of legislation. Then the committee defeated the final report. Instead, the committee will only provide an informational document to fellow legislators rather than proposals. Senator Jean Lysing co-chaired the meeting and called concluding without a committee recommendation report embarrassing, considering the amount of hours spent listening to expert testimony and constituent problems. The committee's attorney, Craig Mortel, part of the Legislative Services Agency, ended the meeting by saying that the committee would be finalized as an informational report with no recommendations or findings included. Indianapolis-based Intelonair will be a partner in a $30 million USDA grant project to study ultra-low carbon feedstock for renewable fuels. California-based Global Clean Energy Holdings was awarded the Federal Partnerships for Climate Smart Commodities grant and will partner with 17 companies and universities in its research, including Intelonair. Their work will analyze Camelina sativa to assess its potential as a plant-based feedstock for renewable biofuels. Camelina is an oilseed crop that can be used to produce ultra-low carbon renewable fuels, Intelonair said. Intelonair is a precision agriculture startup that uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to help farmers pinpoint potential problems with their crops. Roche Diagnostics CEO Brad Moore is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.